Let's hear the longest story. Long ago, there was a king who was very crazy. One day, he had an urge to listen to the longest story. With king's order, it was proclaimed all over the kingdom.
Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. It's the order of our king. Whosoever tells him the longest story will be rewarded with Ramgarh estate and whatever the storyteller wishes for. And if the storyteller fails to tell a long story, he will be put behind the bars. Listen, listen, listen.
Listening to this proclamation, several storytellers came from far-off places, but could not satisfy the king. The stories were long, but the king thought,
I have heard the stories, but why do I give my property for all these stories?
One by one, many storytellers were imprisoned. One storyteller's young son got upset over his father's imprisonment. He thought of teaching a lesson to the king. He reached the palace to narrate the longest story. He said,
Your Majesty, once a farmer had a big farm. He had sown wheat in his fields. Near to his field, there was a tree on which lived a flock of birds. So, whenever the farmer would come to sow the seeds, the birds would take them out and eat them all. Once, he decided to safeguard his fields on his own. But the birds, who did not take the defeat, they didn't give up. They planned something and the work became easy for them. A bird came, picked up a grain and flew away. Again, another bird came, picked up a grain and flew away. Again, another bird came, picked up a grain and flew away. And again another bird came, picked up the grain and flew away.
Then,
Again, another bird came, picked up a grain and flew away.
the king asked,
what happened next?
What had to happen? Again, another bird came, picked up a grain and flew away.
Then, what happened after that?
Your Majesty, a bird came, picked up a grain and flew away.
All right, brother, but speak further.
That's what I'm saying, Your Majesty. A bird came, picked up a grain and flew away.
The king was fed up of hearing the same purr, purr, purr. The king said,
All right, I agree. All the birds came, picked up the grain and flew away. But now speak further.
How is it possible that they picked up all the grains, my lord? The birds will come one by one and pick up the grain one by one only. Then the grains will finish. Once the grains are over, only then the story can move further. A bird came, picked up the grain and flew away.
The king realized that the young man is even more smarter than him. The story is never going to end in such a way. How do I punish him? It's better that I reward him and get rid of him. He said,
Young man, you stop your furfur. Really, you have narrated the longest story. I present you the Ramgarh state.
But my lord, what about my own wish?
Yes, that also. Tell me, what is your wish?
My only wish is that you release all the storytellers behind the bars. It is not good to trouble people without any reason. If so, Mother Goddess would be unhappy and both king and kingdom will be destroyed. And I don't want that such trouble should approach our kingdom.
What you say is right. I order, release all the storytellers with respect. This young man is very intelligent. I proclaim that I will get the princess married to this young man, and after me, he will inherit my throne.
This way, he didn't only release his father, but with his intelligence, he changed the attitude of the king.
काफी पुरानी बात है। एक सपेरे ने एक सांप को पकड़ा और बैंत की टोकरी में कैद कर दिया।
Cross buns, hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross.